Jodie.
Hi.
It's such an honour to have you on this podcast.
Thank
because actually, really quickly, I should have asked you this before. Is Harriet your book editor? Harriet Poland? Yeah.
She's my book agent.
Right.
Yeah.
So because she was my book editor.
Amazing.
And she told me she was working with you like a year ago. And it was when I just had the idea for this podcast. And I was like, oh my God, Jodie Harsh would be like the dream guest on my podcast. And now you're here.
You.
So thank you so much for doing
Harriet.
this.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
She's amazing. Yeah. She's the best.
Well, we've mentioned the book now. So I guess should we talk about it?
Let's dive in.
Yeah, because you it's coming out in September.
September 25th.
How did you first of all find the process of writing?
I loved it. Speaking of Harriet, so book agent, she is part of a company that also does my DJ bookings, and she approached me saying, why don't you do a book? Why don't you've got all these stories locked inside, why don't you write about your insane journey through nightlife, through London? And I thought, no, I'm not doing that.
Why?
That's like a big no. That's a hard pass. Just because I'm quite a private person, and it never really been something that I'd considered before. Went away, thought about it, came back and went, let's just go for it. Let's just do it. Actually, let's just fuck it, do it. So I wrote a few chapters and the rest is quite literally
When
history.
you started writing, was it like just more and more, like, were you just then thinking of like more stuff that's,
I had this sort of like ginormous deep dive on myself, which is such a weird thing to do. I was literally
on the internet?
Yeah, internet. Into like Googling myself. And because I had to remember, I was like drunken off my face for so much of my life that I had to see what I did and trigger these memories. And I kept everything. So looking through boxes of wristbands, looking through backstage passes, looking through invites, going through old email accounts, looking for, party invitations and club flyers and stuff like that. So that was quite a fun process. And it's, you find a flyer from a club night that you'd forgotten all about and you go, oh my God.
And then you remember the whole night.
Remember when this happened and this person was there and we did this and everything came flooding back. So I started off with a big research process.
And are there sort of, there's some parts of like writing, like especially in books where you worry that you're like talking like giving too much information away, or like have you had to change anyone's names, or like has there been those things of like being like, oh actually I probably shouldn't say that about that person?
I've considered privacy for sure for other people. The only person I'm throwing under the bus is myself. I'm very honest I'm very honest in my book. I thought if I'm doing this, this is the moment where I'm telling you everything about me. This is the truth. This is what happened. But in terms of other people, there are some people that are disguised, but there's no like, I did a line of coke off so and so's tits. Like it's not that kind of book. It's not some trashy book.
Who's read it?
A few people, and a lot more people are about to read it.
And how does that make you feel?
The proofs are going out soon. Really excited. Yeah.
It's such a strange feeling, isn't it? 'Cause it's like you're giving someone
exactly
like the inner monologue of your head, and then they're living with it. It's like it's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. I'm very excited, and I've really during the writing process, I was like, God, am I really saying this? Like this crazy extreme thing? And I just thought, hand it over. I've committed it to the page. Here it is.
Into the ether.
Gone through legal. It's all fine. It's all totally fine. No one's going to be angry when they see the book. It's like, it's a really nice, it's a celebration of nightlife and this city and this country and music and these amazing characters and these people and these clubs and these places, most of which don't exist anymore. So some people will remember them. Some people weren't around when these clubs and these party things were.
Yeah, because I was in London, but I was in primary school, basically.
Yeah.
So like when London was a vibe, I kind of feel like I did miss the fun. Because this was what, like when does the book start?
Starts in 2001 when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
So it's fake ID situation
and then
for the first.
Because you grew up in Kent.
I did, yeah.
And then what, you moved to London? Were you just coming in and out of London?
I moved to London when I was 18, so I spent
that is young.
Yeah, I spent 3 years kind of technically running away from home to go to clubs and raves and stuff, sneaking out of the bathroom window, quite literally, getting the train with like, a crop top in my bag and like, you know, glitter to put on my eyes and
then would you get back before your family woke up?
Sunday afternoon after being at an after hours club. I used to go to this club called Trade, which was at Terminals in Clerkenwell. It's now an office block. Fat Tony used to DJ there actually. And it would open at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. So we'd have been to a couple of places and then we'd go to Trade, which was the night at Terminals, and, you know, dance until past dawn. I was gonna say dawn, but like dance until lunchtime, then get a train home and be like, hi, just back from a sleepover down the road. And like people, you know, like, I'm fine.
And what do you think they thought? Because I think this a lot when I was younger. It's like, it would have been so obvious I was on drugs. And I think my mum just knew and was like, I'm just not gonna argue with you while you persuade me you're not.
I don't know whether it was like a little bit of naivety maybe from their part, or I have been a great liar all my life. I mean, look at me. Have you ever met such a liar? This is just a lie. So I think I was just acting like an innocent little angel, and I was the devil.
It's funny because I have this thing, which is actually true, and Emily can vouch for this, where my pupils get really dilated when I'm overstimulated. So if I'm not on drugs, but like sometimes my pupils, so I once got fired from a job because they were like, you are on drugs. And I was like, I'm not on drugs.
Yeah. And in my industry, it's a benefit. And they're like, you're hired.
You're sober, get out of here.
Yeah.
They were like, because it was Damian Marley was there and I like loved Damian Marley at the time. And my pupils got really overstimulated. And the woman was like, you have to go. You can't be on drugs here. And so they made me leave. But so that's my excuse now if people are like, you're obviously buzzing. I'm like, no, I actually have this condition where like my pupils
it's like, this is a medical thing.
So that was like, and then you moved here when you were 18. And then when did you start DJing?
Well, I moved to London at 18 to do a degree in writing actually. And I went out every single night. I think even if I had the flu, there'd be stuff, there'd be 3 really exciting things to go to that night. So I would just have a Lemsip and go out, rack up a line of Lemsip and just like get on with things. And I went out every night, and then when I turned 21 and I left university, I started a club night. And it was kind of my end of uni party / 21st birthday party. And it was like everyone was there. It was really epic. And the clubs,
who?
Amy Winehouse, Alexander McQueen, I think Boy George maybe sung or so. Just tons and tons and tons of people. And the club said, oh my God, can you come back and do this every week? And I was like, sure. Hadn't thought of this as a career trajectory. I was just, when I was at university studying, I paid my way by like dancing in clubs on the stage at gay nights and stuff, and doing the door in drag and guest list and that kind of thing. So I started doing this club, and because our available funds weren't massive, because I was on the shittiest deal ever, I was probably getting like £300 to spend on across DJs and, you know, all the, you know, flyer printing and all the essentials. But yeah, it's probably some awful deal.
Yeah, and they were just probably getting loads of money.
I was making them thousands on the bar. I was on some really terrible deal. And I thought, well, I love music. I have a huge music collection. I can teach myself how to DJ. Obviously, friends of mine were DJs because I was in that world. And so a friend of mine taught me how to DJ, and I thought, yeah, got it. I'll do the opening set every week. And so for about a year, I played from 10 p.m. when the doors opened until about 11:30 when people started arriving. And people would start walking in, I'd be like, right, let's hand it over to a real DJ now. And I'll run around the club. And then that gradually progressed to, okay, I'm now a DJ actually. And then that resulted in me getting gigs at other people's clubs and becoming a DJ.
When you're like throwing parties, does it get ever like tricky? Because it's like, even when I have a party, I'm like, there's so much going on here. There's all of these different people and personalities, and then people are getting fucked. And it's like, you have to navigate so much of that, and you're working.
Yeah, it's quite a high intensity situation. I don't really have house parties. I have a weekly club night that I co-produce with a friend of mine called Felipe, which is super fun. And that's sort of my foot in the club promotion world. But other than that, I don't really throw many parties. I'm sure there'll be a book party, which we'll have to come to.
I will be there.
But I don't, there's a lot to navigate when you're throwing a party. But we have a team at the club, and I've sort of like set up little teams of people over the years of me doing clubs where I actually don't have to get too involved in, there's a security guard that's being rude to customers, or
that's not your problem.
The smoke machine's not working, or
that's the kind of stuff that it's like the logistical stuff. I'm like, I can't do it.
One tiny thing can set a whole night off kilter. If that smoke machine breaks, it sounds like a small thing, but the atmosphere in that dance floor has completely changed because you can suddenly see everything. It doesn't feel like a movie anymore. There's like tiny little things like that can just throw
stuff
everything.
You don't even think about, really.
No, you have to be very detail focused when you're throwing parties.
What's your kind of like, say if I was gonna give you like all the money in the world to throw a party, where would it be? First of all,
it would be so cliche to say like on a tropical island somewhere fabulous, wouldn't it? I think we'd have to bring a club back.
Which club
from
would
the
you
dead.
resurrect if you could only resurrect one club? London club. They're all gone now. It's honestly like a graveyard.
The Cross in King's Cross was so amazing. It was in this series of tunnels. It's now a Tom Dixon shop. So it's now like furniture and candles. But we were there every single Friday night.
So where was it in King's Cross?
In the goods yard. Is it good cold
Drop Yard?
Oh, there.
Cold
Drop Yard, yeah, exactly.
Oh, now it's like a Uniqlo.
It's it's a Tom Dixon
like
shop.
That bit.
Yeah. And but also I remember they brought Studio 54 back I think it was about 10 years ago. I just saw it online. I saw, Paper Magazine did a photo report and stuff. And it just looked a bit sad because it's not a club anymore. It doesn't have the grit. That was 40 years ago. Leave it in the past. So as sad as it is to have lost these spaces, for sure, should we resurrect them? I am for my party. So you give me all the money in the world.
But also, I do agree with that. But I also think like we are now then evolving with it where like we are partying less because of it. Do you know what I mean? That culture where you're describing every night, there being like 3 things that you like had to go to.
100%. And it was
I can't remember the last time in London that I've been like, there's more than one event tonight. And like I have to go to
and it's
all
the obvious things have changed it. Number one, we've all got a phone in our hand. So we've got apps where we can hook up with people very quickly. We have, the party can come to us on social media apps. I hate that I've just said that. Because I know. It just is a fact.
It gives us this other...
Totally. We have access to every single piece of music that's released at the press of a button. So we don't need to go crate digging in record shops or dancing on a dance floor just to hear that tune that we want to hear. Everything's really changed.
And I do think people have become like more health conscious is the other thing.
That was going to be my next thing.
Yeah, because people don't really like, especially like people, like young people, like Gen Z, they're all like drinking kombucha.
100%, yeah.
And like so many of them don't drink alcohol.
Yeah. And I could moan about that for hours, but that's just where the world is.
I've never been to Ibiza.
Are you insane?
I know.
I've been too many times. Let's go now.
Can we? Let's go. There's a January sale on EasyJet right now. Let's go.
Let's do this.
That's quite crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I love to party as well.
Yeah.
I know it's because I've always said I'm only going there when I've got like so much money that I can afford to do everything.
Do it all,
I don't want to do Ibiza like on a budget.
It's its own thing as well. It's like when you're in Ibiza, it's super clubs. There's loads of VIP areas. Again, that's another place that has massively changed even since I started going there when I was, I guess, 20 was the first time I went. Now it's a completely different place. That's evolved as well. But
it still sounds like it's got the super clubs still sound fucking epic.
Epic. You see, on any night of the week, see the biggest DJs in the world in these incredible venues with incredible visuals, amazing lighting. It's that experience, that like packaged experience. It's great.
So we got to go.
We have to go.
Yeah, that was one of my goals this year, is to go to Ibiza.
Yeah, everyone loves Ibiza, and there's like a really special energy on the island.
No, I've heard that. Yeah, like a healing energy.
Totally, it's the rock. There's like this rock that everyone like touches, and but it does feel like a special place. I've been going there.
Do you like festivals?
Love a festival.
Do you like DJing at festivals?
I love DJing at festivals. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Why?
Because less pressure. Because when you do your own show, people are buying tickets to come and specifically see you.
True.
When you go to a festival, people want to see everything and taste everything, and they're there purely just to have a great time over a few days. I love a festival. You can attract new fans and introduce yourself and your music to new people that might not know you or might not realize that they are into what you do.
For the first time.
Yeah. And festivals are just fun. It's like a chocolate box of so many different things.
I know. I find them a bit too overwhelming. Like there's too much choice. Like when you were younger and you would like a lot of the parts of when you were writing in the book, like did you ever feel like you were like overdid it or like took it too far? Like I definitely like had to really rein it in my early 20s because I was like, I will die if I carry this way.
Definitely. I definitely had to rein it in. Yeah. And I'm glad I had years of intense fun.
Yeah.
Which became dark at one point, and you know, I'm definitely talking about that. But glad I reined it in. I quite enjoy being in a nightlife space, not being fucked up.
Do you?
Yeah, I enjoy it because you sort of see it all like a movie. I mean, so many people are not drinking and taking drugs anymore.
I know.
But in my industry, we need people that are. Because otherwise I wouldn't have a job. So carry on.
Keep taking drugs, kids. Honestly, they're really fun.
Keep buying alcohol for the bar sales.
No, but I also do think that it's like that's the part of like British culture that I do really love, especially when you're young, is that we do have this like, is it hedonistic kind of like
definitely
taking it really far.
Yeah.
And then you do it when you're young. And then like you say, you then are like, okay, I did that. I don't need to like carry on doing that.
I was going out every weekend since I was 15 years old. You know, it's like I've really been there and done it and got the t-shirt. Like I've really gone for it.
I feel like you've got like met so many really iconic, famous people.
Yeah.
Who's your like favorite icon? I want like a Lady Gaga.
Loads of fun.
Really?
Really, really fun.
Really?
Yeah. She has a new album coming out, which I'm very excited about.
I love her so much.
She's really cool. And she loves, she's completely inspired by underground club culture. It's like, that's a prime example of how influential nightlife really can be, where it's like global superstar artists like that are heavily influenced in everything they do by queer clubbing, really, and these characters that are within it. This is in the book, actually. There was a club called Punk, which was just off Soho Square, which is now Zara. Prime example.
I love it everywhere you describe. You then say its current form. It's now a Zara.
Yeah. There's a page at the back of the book where it's almost like in memoriam, where it says what each club is now. It's now Flats. It's now Zara.
Zara is, so I know where you mean. Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, so that was Punk. And we would go there on Thursdays for a night called Smash and Grab, which was so much fun. And there was a random corporate party there for Nokia mobile phones, like the launch of a new model of Nokia phones. And there was this DJ that was this girl that was booked to DJ, and I was like, who is that? And people were like, oh, she's like she's like a singer, but she's sort of like, it was Lady Gaga. And she was DJing. And in the booth with her was Paris Hilton. And everyone was sort of like taking pictures of Paris Hilton because they were friends at this point or something. Or she was in town and probably, you know, paid to be at this event or whatever. And everyone was like, oh my God, Paris Hilton is in the club. And no one was like, Lady Gaga is in the club. And then 1 month later, she's #1 everywhere.
It's mad.
Yeah, but people were definitely more excited about
Paris
Hilton.
But also Paris Hilton and Lady Gaga together. It's like,
I know. In retrospect, but when we were there, we were just excited about Paris.
I know. Well, that's like, I once actually met Lady Gaga. I went to her house in LA, which was really random, but she was so fucking nice.
She's
I just remember
really
thinking,
nice.
this is a really nice person.
Yeah.
And she like remembered everybody's names.
Very important. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. How did you? So then, did you work with her?
I'm not really friends. I'm friends with some people that work with her.
Right.
And
okay.
Hung out there a bunch of times and been to shows, and she's come to my clubs, and we've
that's
been
so
out.
cool.
But I would say I don't text with Lady Gaga. Like,
but I would still say I'm friends with Lady Gaga, even if I've met someone. I'm like, she's one of my really good friends. Actually,
she's actually my best friend, but she's like, I just don't talk to her on WhatsApp.
She just doesn't like phones. She's very anti communication.
It's like more telepathic. Actually, it's like we send
soul
messages
sisters.
Psychically.
Yeah. Well, she's in my dreams a lot, Lady Gaga,
which is hugely important, I think, in terms of communication.
When you after you wrote the book, so because the book, am I right? And it's like set over a sort of 10-year period.
It is, yeah.
Right.
I think I was saying this and got sidetracked by some gossipy story. So 2001, I walk into a club. for the first time. That's where the book starts. That's page 1 of the club of the book, and then it ends 10-ish years later. Well, I'm 25 years old. Yeah. So it's a decade.
And why did you want to do like that? Was that just the 10 years that you just felt?
Yeah, I think that's a nice clean amount of time. And around the time when the book ends is when we all get iPhones, really. I mean, there was probably the iPhone 2 or 3, but that's when social media really starts taking over our lives, and iPhones are in our hands all the time, and we essentially become like AI. You know, that just felt like a good year to end the book. It ends in 2011, and then there's a little kind of after page where it's 2012.
And how do you feel like iPhones, like what do you think the effect of like us then suddenly like in London, is that when you felt it started to change?
London always changes. It's like an ever evolving place, as is nightlife. You know, it's an ever evolving thing, living, breathing thing. But for sure, when we all got screens in our hands, that's when everything rapidly kind of changed. And yeah.
I find that really sad.
I know.
Do you?
I do. Actually, looking back when I was researching the book and seeing all the pictures and stuff, I thought, God, this just couldn't happen now. Because we got phones. And the things we do in clubs, on the dance floor and all that kind of stuff, someone would be filming it. Or you just wouldn't feel comfortable because, snogging that person because 20 people around you have got phones in their hands, cameras in their hands. It's just different. I
was actually listening to you on Alan Carr's podcast, and Alan said this thing where he was like, on planes I sleep with a mask. I wear a mask because otherwise I'll fall asleep and people will film me. Oh my God. And I was like, that is so crazy. People will film someone without their consent while they're asleep on a plane.
Apocalyptic, isn't it? It's kind of like,
We've just, I think it's like, this is why I loved like hearing stories about London at that time. Obviously I was here, and I feel like I got a little bit of it. Like we definitely went to some really fun raves in like, I don't know, Emily's one of my like oldest friends. When did we go to like a rave? Maybe like 2009?
Yeah.
When we would have been like,
We would have just turned 18, whenever that was.
No, but we went to those underage raves.
Yeah, but I think
they were weird.
We were like 18.
Yeah, but I just feel like that was when we all had iPhones, and also I just don't know if the actual like options of places to go like was as amazing as it was a tiny bit before then.
Yeah, because I think because all the venues have shut, right? Yeah, there were so many venues when I was first started going out to clubs. There was just so many amazing clubs everywhere. And when I say amazing, they weren't all bougie. Some of them were absolute dives, but they were our places.
I just don't think we have anywhere now.
There aren't many.
Anyway, it's too depressing to really keep going on about that.
Totally.
I just am like nostalgic for something I never really got to experience, and I'd love to go to like a VR like experience of like what that would have been like.
Yeah, totally. I would do that too. That's kind of
VR line in the club.
Yeah. Like buying a drink from the bar from like a rope. Oh my God, that's maybe some money in that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
we could do that together.
Yeah.
The VR like naughties rave.
Yeah.
That like we never got to go to.
Yeah. Keep pitching that.
So what do you sort of like, do you see once the book comes out that it would be something that you would ever want to like adapt into? Like,
be amazing.
Sounds like it could be a really cool like era to turn into something.
And I think the book, it's my story, it's my personal journey through that 10 years, but it's also a story about a city. And it's also, and London really does form a kind of character. Again, that sounds so cliche. That's what I used to say about Sex and City. Where they were New York's the fifth character, the fifth guy. It's like, so awful. So embarrassing that I've just said that. But you had to be there. London's the second character. The supporting actress.
I also just feel like that'll be something that loads of people will say, 100%. Like when they interview about it, they'll read it and be like, so you can really tell that London is like the second character in this book. But London is amazing.
Yes,
and I always feel like New York gets to be like the main character in so many things, and I don't feel like London's ever like the main character as much as New York, which I don't like. I feel that really passionately. Like I feel like London is amazing.
I'll never leave London. London's amazing. New York is
amazing.
Equally as amazing, but just it's got to be one of the most diverse, culturally rich places in the world.
Welcome back. Do you feel like there's an expectation of you when you go, like, what do people expect you to sort of like be on and be like a performer? What's your sort of like, so do you get socially anxious about like going to places where
everyone does, and if they don't, they're lying. But
Agreed.
not massively. Like, it's not some sort of crippling thing. No, I do a bit before I go on a big stage. If I'm DJing, we're talking about a DJ show, and it's a huge thing.
what do you do to calm yourself down?
Talk to my friends on the phone before I go on.
Yeah, I just like doom scroll when I'm really nervous for a show. I just sort of sit there, like,
a bit of doom scrolling. Definitely talk to my friends who, none of which work in my industry, and think it's ridiculous, and will just be like, I'm like, oh, I'm about to go on stage, and they're like, yeah, okay, great, let's talk about real things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you're at work.
Yeah.
I don't know, like do a little bit of a jog on the spot, maybe just before, some deep breaths. You know, just
I just
really-
honestly have like chronic diarrhea before
Oh,
I
do
go.
you?
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
Okay, cool. We've got that visual.
I always say, TMI, I always say that I always lose so much weight when I'm touring because I'm just shitting the whole time.
Oh, that's
yeah, because
great.
I get really nervous.
Nervous wee.
Oh yeah,
Nervous we've
yeah,
got a big show, and you know where like nothing comes out.
Yes,
Like, I feel like I need to do it.
because also I always get this from like, I need to go for a week because what if I piss myself on stage?
Oh my god, like Fergie,
I get really
Fergie in the Black Eyed Peas. Remember that happened?
No.
It's like a whole. You should Google.
What, she pissed herself?
Yeah,
Oh my god, I didn't know that. Have you
Yeah.
seen that?
yeah. It's like a whole thing. Google like Fergie, Black Eyed Peas, piss.
She's performing with a huge wet patch.
Yeah,
3/4 length.
yeah. I don't know if she's ever addressed it. Actually.
Like
There
when
might be,
Paula
like-
Radcliffe, did Paula Radcliffe do a poo or a wee?
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
it a poo?
Yeah.
It was a wee.
I think it was a wig.
Oh, it was
I
a
don't know,
wee.
but there
Oh,
was
I thought it was a
something.
poo.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Again, we're slightly off piece.
I know, but I was just asking you about like how you prepare because
Yeah.
that it's
It's just some deep breaths, actually.
yeah.
I'm right, I don't have that problem, but it's good that we've addressed that medical issue for you today. Get some,
Yeah, I think I have irritable bowel
get some
syndrome.
Imodium.
Undiagnosed. Yeah.
Today's episode is sponsored by Imodium.
Yeah. No, that's happened a few times where I've had text someone like, you need to bring a Imodium right now. Come to my dressing room right now. I need Imodium.
Right, so back to parties.
So back to parties. So wait, you haven't actually, so if you were going to have all the money in the world, right? You, where would you do it? Who would you get to perform? What would the food and the drinks be? What's your like favorite like drink and like snack, like canapé kind of food?
I hate food at parties.
Do you?
Yeah.
I love food. I love
personally
tiny
don't-
little bits.
Do you? Kind of. I personally am, especially if there's always like prawn on things and stuff, and I'm just terrified that that's been made en masse, and there's going to be one dodgy prawn in that batch, and it's going to give me food poisoning or something.
It's possible.
Yeah, and it's like lip gloss, you know. Also. I'm just not really a fan of food in parties.
Okay.
I know some people love it.
I like say at the start of a party, I would really like, you know, a bit of like a chicken, like a bit of chicken.
Yeah.
Or like some chips. Yeah.
Former vegetarian.
Former
You're like,
vegetarian. I'm vegetarian.
I
but
can't go out unless there's a sausage in me first. You're like,
So no food. What like alcohol would you provide?
I provide like gorgeous cocktails. Cocktails look really fabulous, don't they? When people are drinking, you know, like gorgeous, you know.
Yeah, and I love it. I love like when you're at a really good party and they've like created names for all of the cocktails.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
they've-
yeah.
They make you feel like they've invented the cocktail.
Totally,
it's just like
totally. It's a
Diet
vodka and
Coke and
Coke.
vodka. Yeah.
It's a we used
With
to
a bit of
call-
lime.
We used to call vodka and Diet Coke. We used to call that was my tip, and we'd call it skinny bitches. How about you?
Love.
A skinny bitch, and it was a
Love.
vodka Diet Coke.
Love.
Yeah.
With a bit of lime.
No,
No.
too many calories. It was a skinny bitch. No ice or anything. Too
See
many calories
that?
in it. Yeah.
Not to come back to my bowels. Wouldn't be able to handle
No.
that. No. I'd also like come up from the Diet Coke. Like, I think I'd feel really
The
fucked.
caffeine in a Diet Coke. Yeah, I do. I love a. I think bring espresso machines to clubs. I think bars should have espresso machines. That,
Yeah.
Every bar should.
Yeah, because
'Cause
a
I
little
could
bit, a little
pound them.
shot of coffee.
I love a coffee.
Yeah,
before.
well, it's like
Yeah.
a line.
Yeah, love it.
It is. So it does
I'm like
the
gripping
same
onto
job.
like the
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
gurning my face off, and I've just literally just had an espresso. Everyone's like, "You're right, I've done a pill. You've gone really white. Are you okay? You're really sweating." I'm like, "I've literally just like had a Starbucks, but I'm like fine."
And then who would you have performing? Like, who would you get to DJ other than you? Like,
if I'm throwing the party,
Yeah.
then let's say I'm not DJing for
Yeah,
this one. Yeah, 'cause
okay,
as
so-
soon as I'm DJing, it feels like it's
Work.
I'm at work and it's like there's a big task in hand and I can't like socialize.
can't
It's
relax.
about that. Yeah, yeah. So let's say I'm not DJing at this one. I would get maybe one of the legends, like someone to play a party set, like a Fatboy Slim or something, someone that you just know it's going to be so much fun. One of the ledge. What's it? So drinks, DJ,
yeah, but
location.
would you get like anyone to like
a performer?
perform?
I think we need loads of dancers of all genders. Showing loads of skin so it feels sexy.
Lots of like, yeah.
Just sexy. Just
like-
let's not forget, going out and partying, it's about it's
Sex.
about musical, but it's about sex.
It's about sex.
That's what clubs
Everybody wants to
feel sexy.
Yeah.
See sexy things. Be in a sexy atmosphere.
and fuck.
And I didn't say that, but I mean, yeah.
No, but like, okay, I just think people are lying when I sometimes think like when I'm out, like, and then there are people who are like in really happy, committed, monogamous relationships. Like, you should go.
Yeah.
You should not be here because you're like wasting the space.
I think
I want to
singles
know
only.
that everybody's going to be available.
Singles only. You're going to the wrong parties. There are clubs for that.
Yeah.
Not
Not any fucking more.
Oh, I don't know.
No,
It's not
are
my
there?
vibe. I don't know. It's not my
I don't
vibe.
think there are.
That's not my world.
Every time I go anywhere, I like meet someone, think we're gonna get with each other, and then they'll be like, "Yeah, me and my partner, we've been living together for like 2 years." And I'm like, "Are you monogamous?" Yeah. Okay. Fuck off. Why are you talking
Get
to
out of
me?
the club.
Just wasted 20 minutes of my
Oh, no.
evening.
See, that is where apps do come in useful. That,
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
How about
yeah,
an app's on in the club?
No, I've
That's
never
more
done
like,
that.
That's that gay world anyway. It's
Yeah,
like Grindr and stuff.
I don't really do the apps.
No, I don't.
No,
I don't like it.
I'm sort of like IRL.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm DL.
Yeah.
I'm on the DL. No, I don't really do it. I don't.
You
I
don't do
know.
apps.
Nah.
No. Have you ever?
I mean, who hasn't? Like,
Yeah, but like, yeah, obviously that's true.
Yeah.
But there was a period where it felt like really fucking chic to be like on the apps.
On Grindr.
And it did. Sorry,
Really?
it was.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I remember thinking, I wish I could be on Grindr. It just sounds like where like the party is at. I used to always say that, like to my gay friends, but I could never get it.
Yeah, everyone's like, yeah,
Felt
we're
really excluded,
Yeah.
actually.
yeah, they have their purpose, don't they? It's not for me. I like IRL. I
Yeah.
like real life connections. Yeah.
What, like eye contact?
No, don't be ridiculous. That's going too far. Eye contact. No. No, that would be like, I'd freeze up. If I yes, eye contact.
Eye contact,
Yeah.
a little bit of
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. What's that? What does that mean? A bit what? Going up to someone and going, oh.
just like
That's sexual
staring at
harassment.
someone.
You get chucked out the club for that.
Just like going up behind someone and sort of grunting and they turn around and I'm just staring into their eyes.
Not on my party, hopefully.
No, not at your,
No
not at your
sexual
dream
harassment at my
party.
party.
So basically to round that up, I think you're right. I mean, I think the key to a good party is it feeling like it's just everybody feels really good.
Everyone feels good. Yeah, sexy in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got music
And then when will it end?
late.
Is this
But
like,
not too late. And I'll duck out before the end. 100%.
that's chic.
100%. I'm out 3 a.m. or earlier, for sure. But you keep it going till 5.
Yeah, I think it's really cool to leave your own party.
Yeah,
I've never done that.
100%. I arrive hours after it all kicks off as well.
Oh, that's so cool.
Walk in when it's like at its most vibey, for sure. And
then
leave
leave.
before it gets
And would you
gnarly.
like say goodbye to people?
Are you mad? Say goodbye. I don't even say hello to people. Okay, well, talk to the people that have come to the party. Are you saying? I like a. Can we say like French exit, or is that politically incorrect? I actually don't.
Yeah,
know.
why would that be politically
Irish
incorrect?
exit or something like that.
I think basically they also have a Russian exit. I think every nationality just puts their fucking nationality before the word exit.
I do an exit.
Because
Yeah.
it's an Irish goodbye and it's a French exit.
And what's
isn't
the
it?
difference between those two?
It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah, it's just
Okay,
leaving.
fine. Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I
yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
I don't do goodbyes. I sneak out the club.
Do you?
Yeah.
I'm
I think it's chic.
It's so chic.
Yeah. Where's she
tell
gone?
you.
Oh no, I don't know.
No, that's the
And
coolest
have everyone
thing.
looking around for you for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And you're at home. You're at home like taking your eyelashes off. And everyone's like, where's Jodie? Oh, she's like in the other room.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm in the bath.
What's cool about that, I think, is that nobody ever knows like when you left. So it could be like you left 5 minutes ago, but it was actually like 2 hours ago.
Was I ever there?
What? That's such
Was
a good.
I- yeah.
Was I a hologram?
Yeah.
ABBA Voyage.
Have you seen it? It's amazing.
I'm obsessed with ABBA Voyage.
Yeah, okay.
I would go to ABBA Voyage every day of my life.
Okay,
good.
good. Okay,
Like,
we're on. This is
literally like
okay,
wrap me up in
Yeah.
the hologram. All I want to do though is feel them. Like whenever
Yeah.
I'm there, I've been twice,
Yeah.
but I really want to put my hand
Yeah.
through them and see what it feels like.
Nothing. Because
Nothing.
it's a hologram. That's the point of a hologram.
So it
But
really
it
doesn't
doesn't
feel like anything. Like if you went and touched it on the stage, you wouldn't feel it.
You're like, oh, I love holograms, but they feel really good.
I just really want to know. So it would just feel like nothing.
Yes,
Just
the
air.
basic rules of hologram is that it's
Wow.
air.
And you
air
know the
light.
bit at the end where like them now like come out. Do you know at the end of ABBA Voyage, like the actual ABBA, but it's also a hologram of them now, which is also really confusing. Because I remember the first time I was like, oh my God, they're here.
Oh my God,
like,
gag. They're actually-
they do that every night. Like they come out at the end to just wave at everyone.
They're broke if they're like here.
Okay, here's one of my like favorite questions that I ask whenever
Yeah.
we talk about ABBA Voyage. If you could see a hologram of like any musical act, who would you want like the ABBA Voyage of?
Oh my God, what an amazing question.
Thank you so much. It's the only time you said that in this whole episode. I feel like that's actually the first question I've actually asked because I feel like I don't really ask questions. I just like sort of say things and then
And I've gone off about something completely
no,
different.
so have I.
Yeah.
I don't really stick to anything. But it's my favorite question thinking about it. Who would you want it to be?
Oh my gosh.
Because I think really quickly while you think about it, when you are at ABBA Voyage, it really feels like you're at their show.
So weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I think it would be. Oh, I don't know. Who's dead? Listen-
Well, they don't have to be dead. They could just be really old.
Oh, yeah. Joan Rivers.
Oh my God, Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers.
That's such a good answer.
Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers is such a good answer.
Yeah.
I never even think of like a comedian, but Joan Rivers is.
Joan Rivers.
That would be iconic.
Like just like being fucking horrible.
If
but
I could have met anyone, I would have done anything to have met
I
Joan
love her
Rivers.
so much.
Yeah,
Oh my
same.
God. Yeah, I mean, I'd like my go-to YouTube is like watching old
Joan Rivers,
Yeah, and
yeah.
she's so politically incorrect. Now.
Yeah,
I don't
I know.
God, if Joan was around now,
No.
I don't know that she can get away with that anymore. She took it to places that are like,
She
oh,
did.
Joan. Yeah,
Yeah,
But
yeah. She.
I love an old.
I'd love a hologram of Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
I would maybe also want to see Fleetwood Mac like all together at
yeah.
their like peak
Good
time.
one.
Would have
Yeah.
loved that
Yeah,
before it all like they all fell out and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But it's interesting with the hologram stuff because apparently you can't do it if they are dead because you need their consent. That's why only ABBA have been able to do it because
They did Tupac.
But I don't think they did that for profit, did they? That was like a one-off thing. I think you can make the hologram if they're dead, but to make money off of their like likeness, you need their consent.
Right.
And you can't have the estate. That's
You
what the
can't have the
people who
estate.
started ABBA Voyage told us.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Anyway,
if one of all of ABBA,
they're
like,
all alive.
They're all alive.
They're
yeah.
all alive. Yeah. Well, that's what my friend said when she went. She was like, wait, they're all alive. Why don't they just do the show?
Because they're yeah, no.
I'm like, no, I don't. I want to watch them when they're like young and hot and like agile and have these like amazing
Not like,
bodies.
"Boo, lame,
yeah,
boo."
yeah.
Which actually would also go and see. to be-
Amazing.
to be
yeah,
honest,
100%. Yeah. But like they look so fit. Like the women.
Waterloo. Actually amazing. Let's pitch to ABBA for a comeback. Okay,
Yeah.
ABBA are performing at my club.
Yes. Oh,
They're
ABBA.
performing at my
the
party.
actual ABBA or the hologram.
No, I don't want the hologram. I want
No, can
living,
you get the
breathing-
holograms? Then I can just sort of stand in it and like feel what it feels
I'm
like
not going to tell you
be-
whether they're real or not.
Yeah.
And you can just go up to ABBA and touch and go.
I'll just go like that.
and go, oh, sorry, Benny. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. How did this go to you wanking off Bjorn from ABBA? This is like the weirdest podcast I've ever done.
I'm so sorry. I've not had much sleep.
Yeah, this edit's going to be fun.
Yeah, I know. The clips are going to be really funny.
Like deranged. It's like turned into like some like mental health episode.
I feel like I've taken shrooms. That's what I feel like.
Hey, that's what happens when you hang out with me.
Yeah, I love that. Love that.
I read in like 2019 you said that Metropolis was like your favourite club. Like, do you have like a new one or is it the same?
Wait, Metropolis?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask that.
Yeah. Well, that is a club that
You've
I
been
have. Yeah. So
I
is Metropolis still your favourite club or was your favourite club?
was at that point. I think
Yeah.
it changes all the time. Love that place. It was an old strip club.
Yeah.
which just
It's
felt
a
really
vibe.
cool.
I've been to some
Yeah.
really good parties at Metropolis.
So fun. I used to do a club night on Fridays there called Dollar Baby. And actually Lady Gaga came on the opening night.
Wow.
Yeah.
To Metropolis.
Yeah. Do you remember they used to have the beach on the top floor?
Yeah.
So it was like sandy.
I think they still do have do they still have the sand? Anyway, I remember going there when there was
I've not
sand.
been there for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metropolis is still pretty fun, I would say.
Leopard print and stripper poles and
On the stairs.
mirrors, staircase. But I saw someone fall from the. I think it had a pole from that sort of went across
Yeah.
a few stories.
Yeah.
I saw someone go to jump. And I think maybe they just went down it with one hand or something. But anyway, there was a paramedic. Yeah.
They're okay now.
They're dead.
Yeah. That was the ABBA hologram.
But yeah, I've seen so many accidents in clubs. So funny.
So
Not funny.
funny.
So sad. So sad. So sad.
So sad.
How many accidents I've seen in clubs.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck, that would stress me out quite a lot, I think.
Yeah.
Like warning someone.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a teenager and I saw someone like having something that was happening to him at a festival,
yeah.
and I was like, "What?" And
Yeah.
called my mum like, "Please, can you come and get me?"
Yeah.
I was really scared.
Festivals now, there's so many of them have like drug testing things and
Yeah,
stuff.
because
It's
it can be
amazing.
again like it's English people ratchet. Like we can be
Totally.
quite gnarly.
Totally. Safety is key in this kind of environment.
Yeah.
I'm all for safety.
Yeah.
Obviously, in these sorts of environments.
Yeah, and like especially now because drugs like aren't as safe as they were.
Right.
Is what I would say.
Yeah. There are some positives now because back in the day, maybe not as much focus was placed on things like you're not getting a drug testing kit and clubs I was going to or
I just think also people didn't know about like
Totally.
what was in drugs in the way that they do now. I mean, in America, it is really crazy. Like the fentanyl thing is crazy.
right. Yeah, of course.
And
yeah.
again, like that's why people, which they should not, you should really not take drugs if there's any risk of fentanyl being in the drugs. Because in America, it's like, it's uncharted, basically.
Yeah.
Like no one's checking on it.
Yeah, there's always you hear about sort of batches of dodgy stuff going around clubland or festivals and things like that. It's like safety is key.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that's why I always think like if I was ever a parent, I would want to like know, like if kids were going to do it, I'd want to like be involved in that so that I
Definitely.
could make sure that they were going to be safe.
You're like being a cool parent that kind
Yeah,
of is like,
being like-
your kids are gonna go out.
They're
gonna
always
go
going to
partying.
do it.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Unless they're a loser.
Yeah.
Unless you have given birth to a loser.
That's on you.
That's on you. You need to think about yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's what I would want to be like. I'd make sure that I know what they are taking. Because
Yeah.
I think at the moment, anyway, we probably shouldn't talk
That's
too
it.
much about
No.
drugs. But it's a podcast about parties. So like,
Yeah, and it is and like it or not, it's always drugs have always been in club culture.
Yeah,
Way back to when clubs emerged.
exactly. And I just think at the moment we're getting all kinds of shit from all over with random stuff in it. So just be careful, kids.
Yeah,
Okay,
for sure.
be careful.
Definitely.
Test your drugs
Or don't take them.
or don't take them. Just smoke on a Lost Mary vape. They're all the rage
Well,
now.
that's a whole nother can
Yeah.
of worms, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah, everyone should just vape. Bloody hell.
I know, but that's what they're doing. These kids, they just don't really even drink or smoke cigarettes. They just
like
vape
vaping
on these
away.
like vapes which are marketed for children. If you look at them, they look like kids' toys. They
it's-
look like sweets.
It's mad.
It's
yeah.
crazy.
I used to smoke. I stopped smoking before vaping became really popular. And I'm glad because I'd probably be like bang on the vape.
They're
otherwise,
very
but
addictive.
Yeah. You see people just vaping all the time. Do you vape?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to quit.
Yeah. It's tough.
Finding
I know
it
it's
hard.
really tough. Yeah, it's hard to quit.
Yeah. It's hard to quit smoking.
It's hard to quit anything.
How did you quit smoking? Did you get hypnotized?
I stopped cold turkey on New Year's Day quite a few years ago now.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just never again.
Never again. I stopped a few times, but then I just randomly would pick one up just go, oh fuck it, I'll just have a cigarette, 6 months later, and then everything's out the window, right? But I'm such an all or nothing person anyway. But on this New Year's Eve, I smoked all through the night, past midnight, and then I woke up on the New Year's Day and I didn't touch another cigarette again. And then I'd walk past people smoking in the street and just be like, oh, I want a cigarette. Like for the first few weeks, I'd be so like, it's hard. Quitting smoking is so difficult.
It's so hard because it is everywhere.
Yeah.
And then I also think that you think that you can dabble in it. Like I think people think it's easier to like quit, and then you're like, oh, it's fine, I'll just smoke when I drink, or like I'll smoke on weekends, or I'll smoke when I'm on holiday.
And amazing if you can do that.
Amazing, but a lot of people
that's not
can't.
personal.
I definitely have a addictive tendency with
it's a very physically addictive thing to be doing. Yeah, it's chemical.
This is making me want to smoke.
Have a vape.
Whenever I'm watching a film and someone's smoking, I'm like, all I want right now is a fucking cigarette.
Yeah.
But well done. That's really impressive.
Thank
My
you.
dad got hypnotized by
Really?
Alan Carr, the like guy, the one who wrote that book.
Chatty man.
No. Can you imagine Alan Carr hypnotizing you?
He's
That
like,
would be epic.
Don't smoke.
The guy who wrote the really famous book about quitting smoking, he was called Alan Carr as well. My dad got hypnotized by him. My dad used to smoke 60 cigarettes a day, personally by him, and it worked straight away. Mad.
Wow.
Yeah. So if anybody is trying to quit, you should try hypnosis because it does. I think it can work.
I've been hypnotized for other things before. Like I had like a Haribo addiction at one point.
Wow, and you got hypnotized.
And I was like, I am literally eating Haribo. I've been like, this is completely ridiculous. So I thought, well, I'm gonna just go and get hypnotized and see if I stop that nightly urge to go and like buy a bag of Tang Fast. Really opening up here about trauma. And
also because those adverts, the Tangfastic adverts, it would get into your psyche, I'm sure.
You can't beat Tangfastics though. They're so good. They're so good. The key shaped ones?
Yeah, I do love them. The ones with the white bit. No, I like the ones that are like with the white bit on the back.
I leave them out.
Really? I love any of the ones with the white. Okay. I don't like without.
So, but
and you went to get hypnotized.
I was hypnotized, but my I don't know. I don't know if I fully committed to the trance because I was just like.
I think it's when you're getting hypnotized. If a part of you is like, this is so silly,
I
then
was
it's
like
just
that the whole way through.
it's just never.
Just like,
it won't work. Yeah. But I think if you want to stop smoking, it's definitely a thing to try.
Amazing.
And there's now a book for how to stop vaping, which I've obviously not read because I don't want to stop.
Can't.
Edit. So wait, tell us. The book is out on the 25th of September.
25th of September.
Yeah, and you're gonna have a big party.
I
and we're gonna have the hologram of ABBA.
ABBA are performing at the party. They're not. Did ABBA get a name check in my book? I don't think they do. No,
that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah.
They don't have to.
No,
you can still love them.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely, the greatest pop songs of all time. Right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
always like great to get people to dance.
100%.
Yeah. Yesterday I had this job in Amsterdam and then we flew back and I was so drunk. I have really big fear of flying, so I got really drunk in the lounge.
Yeah.
And then ended up like asking if I could go and meet the pilots afterwards, and basically like sat on one of the pilots' laps.
Oh God!
Yeah, it was.
And they're met by police as you like. When they're like, wait, if you ever got off a plane, there's like a wall of police like waiting for, because obviously someone's like said something to someone on the plane.
No, and also they opened the door because the air hostess, she was so fucking jokes. I loved her. And I was like, oh, have you ever gotten with a pilot? She was like, everybody gets with pilots. Like, it's like a rite of passage. Like, if you work on a plane, you've gotten with a pilot at some point. And I was like, can I meet the pilots? Like, when we land. So we landed. And then she opens the door and they were like quite fit. So I was really taken aback by like how good looking. Like, one of them was really good looking. So I was like, whoa, I feel like I'm in a porno now.
Yeah,
like, I'm in the cockpit.
Oh my God.
And he was like, do you want to try my hat on? I was like, yeah, obviously I want to try a hat on.
Oh my
so
God.
It was like a weird combination of feeling like a child and also like we could have had sex.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just really drunk. That's why I made me feel a bit mad.
Oh, I love
right
that.
now.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Loads of like, so many buttons right in a cockpit.
So it was
like, what does all this do?
It was quite good for my fear of flying, seeing what they see. And because I was like, I've got a really big fear of flying. He was like, honestly, like, you shouldn't. He was like, it's all fine.
So safe. Isn't it?
That's what he was saying.
Have you ever been in really gnarly turbulence?
Yeah.
It's so safe. But it can just feel really.
safe.
I know.
It doesn't
that's the
feel
thing.
safe. But
That's
somebody
the
said
thing.
this thing to me yesterday, which was so useful. She was like, you have to imagine when you're in the air, you're in jelly. You cannot actually like go down like that.
The laws of physics or something.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You're like stuck in that. That's why when you land, it's like they have to really turn the engine on.
Yeah, and I think in turbulence you're literally moving like a few feet.
Yeah,
Even when it feels
just
like
feels...
thrusting around in the sky, it's just like a car going over a bump.
Have you
in
ever
the
been on
road.
a private jet?
I have.
And what did that feel like?
You feel the bumps a lot more. It feels like it's going faster, but that could just be because it's like zippy and you're in a tiny little thing.
But you really feel...
You do, yeah. I remember the first time I was on, I've been on a few, and the first time was really, really bumpy. And it was from Ibiza to Mykonos. And for some reason, it really felt very, very bumpy. I didn't feel that safe.
No.
I
don't think actually, I don't think I want to go on a private jet.
Yeah.
That's
you feel safer when you're on a big...
of the podcast.
Right.
No, I don't think I'd feel very safe.
Yeah. Definitely when you're on a bigger plane, it feels a bit more sturdy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even though it's like 100 times heavier, but it does feel...
Well, that's what apparently
safer.
Tom Cruise's plane feels like he has like a Boeing, whatever it is. So it just feels like you're on, but it's just Tom Cruise is like, apparently the bathroom is like the size of this room. Yeah, I met someone the other day who had been on it.
Oh my God, on Tom Cruise?
On Tom Cruise's private jet.
Amazing.
I know.
What's that story? Can you say no?
She was just saying that it was unbelievable. Like it sleeps 9 people, but it's the size of like the Virgin big.
It's like a hotel.
Yeah. And she just said
Fabulous.
all the rooms were massive.
Love.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. So that's what we're aspiring to.
Yeah, that's what we need to get in with. Tom Cruise.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it so much. I hope you've had fun.
I've had a horrible time. We've been laughing for an hour. It's been so much fun.
Okay, good. I'm glad because I feel like I never really it's just such a anyway.
I've had the best time.
I'm basically like not a journalist. So I'm like, do you know what I mean? My mum listened to the podcast. She listened to the podcast and she was like, you just sort of like waffle on. I was like, yeah, because that's
what I want from a podcast.
Yeah.
I listen to so many podcasts. And
do you?
Do you listen to Trixie and Katya's podcast?
Yes, yeah.
They talk about shit.
Because it's like, you just feel like you're hanging out.
100%. Yeah. And I'm so engaged with it because I'm just like, I feel like I'm on
there.
with them.
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out with my mates. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm
Thanks
really
for having
excited to read your book.
I think you're going to.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
And then to see the pending film or TV adaptation
you never know.
will manifest. Well, it sounds very rich in like stories and stuff.
Yeah. Good. Thank you.